Hi, students. Chapter 6 is all about perception. I don't know if you've thought about what that really means, but this chapter really discusses it at length and how important it is for infants and toddlers. Perception is simply the ability to take in and organize information. And we know that taking in sensory information occurs throughout the five senses. Okay, we know about hearing, which is auditory, sight, visual, taste, gustatory, smell, olfactory, and touch. So think about your perceptions as you're watching this video. Well, we know that you're using visual, you're seeing, and hopefully you're listening, which is auditory. And if you happen to be eating something like a candy bar, you're also using gustatory, or taste. Or if you have something cooking and it's smelling wonderful, you're using olfactory or smell. And if you're touching anything while you're watching this video, you're using your sense of touch. There has to be sensory integration. And that just means you're combining and integrating this information across all your senses. It is critical to the development of perception. The basis for cognitive development occurs through the interrelatedness of sensory experience and motor experiences. This is the primary way that infants and toddlers learn. You may have heard of the term sensory processing disorder. Many children with disabilities and almost all children with autism have problems with processing sensory information. It's like it goes in to the brain, but it's confusing. And this is a condition in which the brain has trouble receiving and responding to information that comes in through the senses. It is not currently recognized as a distinct medical diagnosis. And some of the signs of children with sensory issues may be they have an aversion to light, or sound, or touch, taste, or smell, or several of those. My grandson, as many of you know, has autism, and he has issues with textures, and bright lights, and loud sounds. He doesn't eat anything that has any kind of texture whatsoever, and hasn't all his life. His diet consists of Pediasure and sometimes yogurt. In fact, if he ever gets to the point of chewing any textured food, he will have to learn to chew and swallow, as the time for this reflex developing has long passed. Any light or sound that's too bright or too loud causes him to start screaming or covering his ears. He is now 10 and still struggles with these sensory issues. He receives services called occupational therapy to help address these issues. Your chapter does specify children with special needs, and it acquaints you with the IFSP, Individual Family Service Plan. West Virginia, of course, uses Birth to 3, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with that organization. They work with young children from birth up to age 3. In Pennsylvania, it's not quite that way, but they have an organization that basically does the same thing. Typically, we know that hearing is the strongest sense at birth, and it's very responsive to high-pitched, familiar voices and sounds. Sight is the last sense to develop, and newborns' vision is very blurry, but their focus is on the close-up of their mother or primary caregiver's face. And one of the best ways to foster multisensory experiences is through nature and the outdoors. We do our children a great disservice when we don't take them outside, even in winter. They need the fresh air and sensory experiences naturally provided through the outdoors. Thank you.